27-year-old Kimberly Jo Hunt has been charged in connection to the death of her 4-year-old son Dakota Williams, who died last year from exposure to narcotics. At 2:39 p.m. on the 10th of September 2022, authorities responded to a home at 212 Hallmark Road in Shannon, North Carolina about a boy in cardiac arrest. When first responders arrived, they found Dakota dead at the scene. An autopsy conducted by the North Carolina Medical Examiner's Office determined that the boy died as a result of methamphetamine toxicity. On Wednesday the 20th of September 2023, Kimberly turned herself into the Robeson County Sheriff's Office with her attorney. Kimberly's been charged with second-degree murder and child abuse inflicting serious injury. She's held at the Robeson County Detention Center on a $1 million bond. A 22-year-old mother and a 26-year-old boyfriend are behind bars after they left her twin toddler daughters home alone and returned to find one of them dead. On Friday the 1st of September, authorities responded to a residence in the Hunter Crossing apartment complex at 4830 North West 43rd Street in Gainesville, Florida on report of an unresponsive 3-year-old girl. When first responders arrived, they transported their toddler to hospital where she was later pronounced dead. The victim's mother, Donria McLaughlin, told investigators that she took a nap when her boyfriend Sean Lee woke her up several hours later and they found the toddler wasn't breathing. Detectives, however, learnt that the couple attended work that day and left the child and a sibling home alone for about 8 hours. During this time, they did not arrange for or provide care for the toddlers, nor were the children checked on. Upon returning to the apartment 8 hours later, the couple found the child unresponsive. Further investigation uncovered a history of prolonged abuse and neglect, where the children were beaten, leading to the death of one child and injury to the other. The surviving sibling received treatment at a nearby hospital that night. During the course of the investigation, the couple abandoned their apartment and fled state lines to Atlanta, Georgia, where they previously lived. On Monday the 18th of September, authorities located and arrested Donria and Sean. They're held at the Fulton County Jail and will be extradited back to the Alachua County Jail. They face charges of murder and 2 counts of aggravated child abuse and 2 counts of child neglect. Their bonds have been set at $4.5 million each. The investigation into the matter continues. 20-year-old Zoe Messenger was fatally shot by a 26-year-old ex-boyfriend James Norton before turning the gun on himself. At 7:22 p.m. on Wednesday the 20th of September, authorities responded to a Walmart at 4166 Jimmy Lee Smith Parkway in Hiram, Georgia on reports of shots fired. When officers arrived, they found Zoe and James in a critical condition with gunshot wounds. They were rushed to the Wellstar Keniston Hospital, where they both succumbed to their injuries. Authorities said the pair had previously dated, as Zoe recently ended the relationship. Police said that just after 7 p.m, Zoe was at the Walmart where James worked, when he approached her in one of the store's aisles and started a conversation that did not appear to be angry or animated when James suddenly pulled out a handgun and shot her and then himself. Zoe had been in a relationship with James since 2022. In a Facebook post last week, Zoe announced that she entered a new relationship. Authorities said they found no record of any calls or reports about domestic violence between the two. The Hiram Police Department announced its deepest condolences to both families. 54-year-old Matthew Lucas is behind bars for beating his long-term girlfriend 44-year-old Heidi Chase to death with a hammer. At 4:24 a.m. on Wednesday the 20th of September, authorities responded to a residence at 92 Chase Road in Freetown, Massachusetts after receiving a call from a neighbour reporting that he had found Heidi unconscious. The neighbour said the woman was not breathing and was cold to touch. The neighbour told police that Matthew had been at the home prior to the call, but had since left on foot. Authorities found Heidi's deceased body with severe trauma to her face, blood throughout the house and a hammer saturated in blood that had hair on it. Matthew and Heidi lived at the home, which had been subdivided into 2 residences. Another couple lived next door. Witnesses told investigators that on Tuesday night, Matthew and Heidi had been socialising with neighbours and had been smoking cocaine and drinking. Witnesses told investigators that at one point during the partying, Matthew started grabbing Heidi's hair and neck, and the two had to be separated. Later, witnesses reported hearing Matthew yelling, with objects being smashed at their home. A neighbour went to check on the couple and heard Matthew say, "Why are you cold, Heidi? I love you." He engaged Matthew at the time through a screen door, and Matthew explained that he had killed Heidi and that his life was over. Matthew had blood on him and on his clothes. The neighbour then went inside the home and found the bloodied victim and the house in disarray. Police were provided with a description of Matthew, and at around 8:40 a.m. he was found hiding in a friend's shed along Burns Lane, about half a mile away from the home, and he was taken into custody. Matthew is charged with murder and is held at the Bristol County Jail without bail. Matthew has an extensive history of violence and had a trial on another case but didn't show up for court, but was instead committed to a mental health facility where he was released just 2 days before the killing. Matthew's attorney said he suffers from drug and alcohol addiction, as well as schizophrenia. The investigation into the matter continues.